if you're not growing or evolving, especially in this space, I think you're gonna become a dinosaur real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of podcasts that started in the pandemic that didn't even survive, and only a few that really like blew up instantly because of the pandemic.
People to not look at social media as the metric or the standard, and it's really knowing yourself and identifying who you are, what makes you happy, and what is your standards, and block out all the noise.
What you have to realize is that when you're creating anything, any platform, when it means betting on yourself, what I mean is that you're taking on the identity.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's more so letting go of that safety net and being like loving to be uncomfortable.
Most people don't fail because of the lack of skill. There's so many talented people in this world.
Yeah.
It's the lack of consistency and the lack of belief. It's because they don't see an instant return. So they're like, damn.
I think just as long as, you believe in what you're doing and you're purpose driven, that's all that matters.
Let's flat out. Big teams, big boys, alright? My highs and lows, inherit growth, Mr. Deeds. Went from juggling 3 jobs to CEO like I'm Steve. Never been a rotten apple, call me John Appleseed. That's how I bleed. God can see, no other man can judge me. Call him Mike, Mr. International, getting cream. Single mother told me worth, and now I'm worth everything. Went from Wall Street to Abu Dhabi, straight rolling in a Maserati with women that feel exotic. My life too pristine.
Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that.
It was film day.
Yeah.
We gotta make a statement.
Exactly. We gotta make a statement. Last
What's
flight
going
out,
on, man?
Flat out.
Welcome back to a New York City edition of the Last Flight Out podcast. We're your hosts, Mike and Jay. Give us a like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you can find us at Last Flight Out Podcast across all of our social media channels. In case you've forgotten, I'm your host, Jay. You can find me at JLubriel26, and you can follow Mike at
If Mike was here.
my man, Mike. Let's give him a shout out, man. You got back last night off of a flight from the UAE. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm exhausted. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
He's got to do what
You did 36 hours in Dubai, so it's only, I'm not doing 36 hours.
Mike is staying for 3 weeks. Mike is staying for 3 weeks in New York.
Right to it though.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, shout out to you for coming here and holding up your end of the bargain. However it may be, 36 hours, 3 weeks, we got to get it done, right? So let's just jump right into it, man. So nearly 2 years ago, Mike and I started this podcast journey and launching this platform. And we did it at a time when the podcasting industry was already saturated post-pandemic, right? And we didn't have much direction or guidance on how to navigate this or what we thought the platform would be in the beginning, right? But I just started personally, I started as a meaningful way to pivot, as a way to express myself creatively, and just a way for us to reach a broader audience that we wouldn't have had otherwise on our socials, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
So we fast forward now, we're deep in the grind, tens of thousands of dollars of investments in there. I think we're up to 6 figures now in this thing, right? Just between traveling all over the place, hotels. And I think it's appropriate, like we touched on this in several different episodes, but I think it's appropriate for us to talk about like, what does it truly mean to bet on yourself now that we've been in this for 2 years, what the emotional toll is, what are some of the boundaries we've created, what are some of the myths that have been busted, right? I just think it's like time for us to like really jump into that, because I think when people say, oh, you got to bet on yourself, look, you see a lot, like we're 2 years into this and like, it's really true that you really don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, you don't.
If at all.
Yeah.
In the first few years you doing this. So this is really testing your grit and your grind. And we're pumping even more money into like different ways where we can expand our platform and like just stretch ourselves as creators and podcasters. Which is really testing the relationship, the business, like how far we can take this, like in terms of like our commitment to this. So I think it'd be remiss for us to not talk about sort of like not the dark side, but like the other side of what it means to bet on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, with this podcast, it was betting on ourselves is, putting our monies where our mouth is, like from studio time to traveling to make this work, because we both live in different places now. It's really our own investment, we don't have any big sponsors, no big deals or anything like that yet. But we
get a couple emails.
Yeah, a couple emails.
I see some emails. I'm like, I don't think that's where we're gonna go. Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, to me, it's believing in yourselves when no one did, and it's cool for I guess the first 6 months and all that. But it's now, and we're approaching 2 years. What does that look like? How much did we already invest? Do we keep going? Do we double down? when we haven't seen a return yet.
Piggybacking off of what you said, I think it's a mindset, right? When you say you're betting on yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's not just pivots or moves. That's part of it. But I think like you said, the first 6 months when you're off the high and it feels new and it's less, you feel motivated each and every day.
Yep.
It's like a relationship almost, right? Where everything feels new, everything feels great.
It's
but then 2 years,
stage.
every like 2 years in, it just feels like now it's part of my daily routine where we talk about the podcast, think about the podcast. And like now we have to talk less about the technicalities of the podcast. We know what it takes to produce an episode, to put a season together. It's the same thing each and every season. But now it's how do you deal with expanding the podcast into a digital platform, which was one of our goals at the end of like season 2 to start doing this. So it took us almost a year to get that off the ground and to actually do it in the right way. And also trying to, now the next step is to make that consistent as part of this, the branded stuff, the high quality stuff, the studio stuff. How do we get the digital mesh in there, right? Because we still want the audience. I think the audience really appreciates the seasons, but like how do we kind of connect the digital with that? So it's just sort of like a constant pivot each and every time. And if you're not growing or evolving, especially in this space, I think you're going to become a dinosaur real quick. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of podcasts that started in the pandemic that didn't even survive, and only a few that really like blew up instantly because of the pandemic. But the majority of other podcasts and platforms are exactly where we're at, where it's still a concept or an idea. And I think we have proof of concept because of our growing subscribership year over year, time over time. But it's also like people always like asking like, what's new, what's coming next, right? So it's a mentality that you have to really adapt.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I've been saying is being consistent. How are we able to consistently every Thursday put on an episode for 1 year straight? And so when I've been going to these conferences and just studying the craft, learning the industry, and seeing the people that are successful, there's no breaks. It's literally twice a week, once a week, consistently for a year straight. And for me, it's like, all right, if we're not going to do it like that, then we can't compete. So that's why I'm like, we got to get it to that level.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think, maybe we're brainstorming live here, but this is actually what we're bringing you into the conversations that me and Mike have off camera, right? Like we have 2 seasons that are basically 20 episodes. And then before this, we were going dark, right?
Yeah.
Which we would have good momentum for 10 weeks and then it would stop. Good momentum for 10 weeks and then would stop. We'd go quiet for 3 months and that is not sustainable in a world of where the IG, TikTok, they punish you for stuff like that, right?
They're going to punish you. And then the audience is going to punish you as well. People's attention span is so fickle that once they lose sight of you, that's it.
It's done. It's a wrap. It's like, yo, off to the next. It's true. Yeah. People like in a world where there's so many trending topics. Like, the Diddy trial was like a big thing last week. The week before that was the Travis Hunter thing. It just like becomes very, very, very quick and you have to keep up with the tide. So the only way in doing that is obviously if you're building anything, you need to have resources. So thankfully we have the resources to be able to do stuff like this, right? But it's not sustainable for me and Mike to be going to New York, Dubai every month to keep these episodes done, right? So I think that's why the digital podcast was a mental pivot that we needed to take and be like, you know what? Like we need to invest in the cameras, invest in the audio and making sure like I need to invest in the art because the last episode 2 was staticky. So I know, but it actually but most people, like you said, like most people I don't think, and not like you said, but just piggybacking off of what you said, most people don't fail because of the lack of skill. There's so many talented people in this world. Yeah. It's the lack of consistency and the lack of belief. It's because they don't see an instant return. So they're like, damn, how many people would have quit doing this, not seeing an instant return? Yeah, we've had good milestones with the better help and with, all the small sponsorship with Margin. Shout out to Margin. But how many people would have given up by now? 2 years in, be like, damn, I've already pumped more money into this. And like,
we've seen some things fade. You know what I mean?
We've definitely seen things fade for
and then not to like never hating on anyone, and I can't hate, but I've seen other platforms grow and be bigger than us. And the only difference is they're consistent. That's the only difference. And they show up. And I'm like, and shout outs to everyone that's showing up.
But had we been in the same place, obviously like we would have been in the studio every week too, right?
No,
Like,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
we've been in the same place. It's not because we didn't want to.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
So, and just finding out those logistics and things like that. So,
yeah. So I mean,
I seen the other day. What is it? Which this is what we got to get to, where we could literally film from anywhere. I seen Shannon Sharp was in the studio and Ocho Cinco was in a strip club. And the sound quality was amazing.
but how did he set up the sound quality?
Yeah, I don't know.
That had to be staged. That had to be. You think he just pulled up with his laptop and was like, "I'm just gonna start talking"?
I
to you
think
from
so.
the strip
I
club?
actually think so.
So how did he get the audio to be that good?
I
Mike,
don't
you've
know.
been doing this long enough to know that a laptop mic does not sound that good. They knew he was coming through. They knew he was coming through. They probably set up some Bugazi mic in his, a little.
The thing
Rode
is,
mic.
he was there early before the night
Yeah, but-
started, and it was quiet.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So I'm like, we got to be able to do this anywhere.
But-
Pop up a laptop, no mic.
No,
Just
it's
do
true.
it.
Like that.
Yeah.
We have to do that, right? So it's a mentality. Like what you have to realize is that when you're creating anything, any platform, when it means betting on yourself, what I mean is that you're taking on the identity,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that means that this podcast is part of who I am as a person.
Yep.
So when I talk to people now in certain rooms, the first thing I say is, depending on what the situation is, I tell them I have a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm no longer ashamed to tell people I have a podcast.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Because at first I was like, I'm a lawyer. I work in big law, corporate, these certain types of people are not really like, hey, like, are you really dedicated to this? But this just makes me a much more interesting person, right? Like it's a conversation starter. What made you do it? What do you guys talk about? Like I try to dispel people saying like, just because two guys have a mic doesn't mean that they can't talk about positive
we're not.
messages, right? Like we're not on that side of the internet, thankfully. But I just think like, and no disrespect to the people on that side of the internet, everybody has an audience, but we just need to start like the myth busting of like, you need to bifurcate each part of your life. Like everything kind of just swivels together like a crochet blanket, right? Like and you have to find a way that seamlessly it works together, fits together, and it works for you. And we're still finding our stride even 2 years in. We don't have everything. We don't have everything figured out. Like, yeah, we have the travel plans figured out. We know what we're going to hit. We know what topics we want to touch upon, but what are some of the things that we can do to make ourselves better, right? Like it's just constantly being afraid to not fail. And we've had plenty of bust on this podcast.
Yeah.
Sure.
What was your first instance of you betting on yourself, not related to the podcast, but before this, where you betted on yourself and it paid off, or it didn't pay off?
Betting on myself and I didn't pay off. I would have to say it was in the 3rd grade. When I asked the hottest girl in the 3rd grade to be my girl, and she straight up put no, like on the paper. No. On a serious, I'm serious. On a serious note, the first time I probably bet on myself, it was probably when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and I said that I always wanted to be a lawyer, right? But like I was like, I want to go to the top institutions. I want to practice at the highest level. I want to be at the top of my classes. And I was pretty smart, but I never really applied myself like that until high school, and I was just crushing it. And I really remember telling myself like, yo, like I'm going to have even before Kobe or anything, I'm going to have delusional confidence in myself.
Yeah.
Who's going to, if I don't believe in myself, then who else is going to believe in myself? Right. Like, so you have to walk into any room with a lot of confidence, right? Like, and there's a fine line between cockiness and confidence.
Yeah.
But I think that also has an effect. That also has a lot to do with the perspective of the person calling you cocky, because it says a lot about them than it does about you, right? If you're calling me cocky, why are you calling me cocky?
Yeah.
If I'm
feel
saying,
like it's a lot of people that are insecure about
absolutely,
themselves, and they're like, oh, he's cocky. Why don't they humble themselves? Like, why don't you humble yourself?
but it's one thing about being brash. Being brash is different. If we're having a dinner conversation, we're talking about something random, you start talking about yourself. That's being brash,
that's
and that's a little arrogant, right? But if you're asking me about myself, I'll give you an example. So I was having dinner a few weeks ago with someone who I haven't seen in like 13 years.
Yeah.
So basically since college. And this person was asking me about everything that I've done over the last few years, catching them up on the last 12 years. And so what's happened since college. I went to law school. I lived in London. I've lived in different places around the world. And as I'm going through this, the person's saying like, wow, like it must be real difficult to be your girlfriend. Not that this was like just somebody to be next to you. And I was like, well, the right person who's going to be right next to me is not going to be fazed or intimidated by anything that I've done, right? Or they're not going to have to feel like they can measure up. They're going to feel like they can fit in to this point, right? Like into this plate. Now, by you not having a lot of confidence in yourself, that says a lot about you by making that statement. And what I'm trying to get at is that a person's perspective, tying this back into betting yourself, when you're betting on yourself and you're constantly repeating, these are the goals that I'm going to accomplish, and other people are saying like, damn, like chill down, humble yourself, whatever it may be, it says a lot 'lot about them than it does about us. How many haters we got when we started this platform? Got a couple sneak dissers. We got a couple sneak. Where they at now? Yeah. 2 years later. Not talking,
honestly,
right?
I don't even focus on that.
But you know what? I'm not saying focus on it, but they've had to swallow their words a little bit, right? Because they maybe didn't think this was sustainable. Or when I moved, they're like, damn, I guess it's a wrap. And we came back and said, no, it's not. Right? Like, so we're going to call it quits when me and Mike decided to call it quits. Not because you decided to tell us when it's called time to call it quits, right? Yeah. So what about you? When's the time when you thought you first bet on yourself?
Let me see. I could think of quite a few.
I mean, you better use all the time, bro.
I know. Quite a few times. I would say one was I think high school basketball, definitely. But I'll speed it up a bit because I got a Michael Jordan story. You know, I got cut from my freshman year.
Oh man!
And I worked out, and I could have transferred schools. And
this is All Hollow.
You know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cut freshman year. I could have transferred.
Why'd you get cut though, Mike?
No, to be honest, I didn't know this. This is like, growing up in the hood or playing basketball, I didn't know the whole AAU circuit was big, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because it was literally just like, I was the first one in my family, I feel like, to like really play ball and hoop. So I didn't have, the older brother or the pops that's like, this is where you got to go to Riverside, go to Gauchos. I was just hooping, and hooping in the local tournaments and everything like that. I feel like I was nice, which I was.
To Rucker Park, man?
Yeah, I played in Rucker.
You played?
I actually played for Team Rock and all that. So back in the day. But so I got cut, and it was because they was recruiting kids from the 8th grade and all that. Like already coming freshman year, like, I'm on the team. I got recruited to come here. I'm like, what the hell? Like, they do this? And so the team was already set, got cut. And it was nice, got cut. But then like I came back next year and like I was like, nah, I'm making this team. Ain't no way. Like, and I'm busting dudes'
Is
ass.
JV squad or still varsity?
JV.
Okay.
JV. So busting dudes' ass in intramurals, this and that. One of my boys, my best friends, was on the team and all that. He's like, yo, you gotta be on the team. Like, yo, you nice. And then next year, tried out, made the team, then ended up playing 1 year JV.
You played guard?
Yeah, point guard.
Were you a pass first guard or you were a shoot first guard?
Pass first.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I do a little bit of everything.
That's why you like Tyrese Halliburton so much, right?
Yeah, he's nice. He gets to it. It's ugly when you get it done.
This is not that episode. Forget Tyrese Halliburton, bro.
Anyway. So I just betting on myself on that one. And then one more that's actually, it was more vital. My first job out of college. So,
where'd you work? Lazard?
Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley.
Yeah. So I basically took that as an internship. So it wasn't a full-time job. I had other full-time offers, and my thing was, I needed money, so I didn't even know I was going to get paid in the internship. And the internship is just for the summer.
And they weren't paying?
So, no, I found out later, like they were paying. But I took the offer, and I was still working at Yankee Stadium in the commissary. Like literally, whenever them stands run out of hot dog bread or buns or whatever like that, or beer, I'm in the trolley carrying the stuff up. All through all the drunk Yankee fans and all. It's hard work. But it's to me, I needed money in my pockets, especially a grown man. It's like I'm not getting an allowance anymore.
You wasn't grown. You was 21.
Yeah, but I'm not.
You wasn't grown. 21's not grown, bro.
But the best thing that I got was, having a parent that allowed me to still stay in the apartment without paying rent. So I was like, all right, I ain't got to pay rent. I need money for myself, go on dates, get fly, and then I'm gonna work at Morgan Stanley.
Your mom ain't charge you any rent?
No.
Man, shout out to Big Mama E, man.
She was like,
shout out to Big Mama E.
Yeah, she was like, yo, save your money.
Go get fly. Your mom was a facilitator, so your BS then.
Yeah. So the thing is, took the job not knowing I'm going to get paid. And then first day I go, then you sign a W-2s. I'm like, what's all this for? It was like, oh, yeah, you get paid like, a certain amount. I'm like, oh, word? I quit my job immediately. Like, from Yankee
You
Stadium.
don't
I was
want to
like,
do it for
I'm
keep it
not
as a
going
weekend?
Huh?
Keep it as a weekend job.
Hell no. And that's just hard work. I'm not for the hard work, man. And shout out to everybody that work at Yankee Stadium, at any type of job like that, but it's not for me.
It's not for you. You don't like to sweat a little bit?
It's not for me, and the fans are crazy. Like, yo, they gonna knock over the beer cans and all that.
I worked my first job while I was in college. You want to talk about betting on yourself? When I told myself, hell no. My first job, shout out to my dad on this one. He hooked me up with a job at it was called Air Serv at the time.
Okay.
They were a contractor for Delta that will clean the planes. And my dad thought it would be a really good job for me to go humble myself and be like, I was like 17 years old, 18 years old when I got this job. And then my job was literally to go inside the planes, clean them up, like the things you would see. That would go clean them up, gas the planes up, put the water in, take all the BS, the waste from it was nasty work, bro. And I remember my dad was like always asking me like, what do you notice about the job? And I was like, what do you mean? What do I notice about the job? It's terrible. Like I need money for the summer and I'm not getting an allowance like you at this point. My parents couldn't afford to give me an allowance. So like my dad was like, but what do you see about the people that are there? Focus on the people that are there. Yeah. So I started focusing on the people that were there, bro, hopeless. Hopeless. Old guys telling me, man, stay in school.
Yeah.
I got into responsibilities too young. Like I ignored what my parents were saying. Bro, like the thing that hit me the most was this guy. I forgot what his name was, but he was the senior most person. In order for you to do your vacations for the year, you chose the weeks by priority. Given that everybody was Dominican, everybody wanted December because they would go back home. Yeah. I didn't care because I'm from here, so I didn't care about December that much. But I remember him and his son. He was there for like 40 years, so he was number one. His son was like 9th. So his son would always get like the week before Christmas, the week after Christmas. And like, they're like, yo, we work all year long for December. And I remember it hit me.
How long was the vacation?
He would take all 4 weeks and put it in December. Right? Like he would go all 4 weeks in December. And I'm like, hold on. So you work,
do that.
Hold on, you work. I was like, hold on, you work all year, back-breaking work for 4 weeks. And I remember telling myself, I never want to live a life whereby I have to wait to live my life for 4 weeks of any given year. That's the reason why I just came back from Monaco in the con. Yeah. I'm going to take vacation when I want to take vacation. Now, if I have to take my work with me, I've decided that. But that gives me happiness to be able to get on a plane whenever the hell I want, stay at a nice hotel, do great things, and come right back to New York. Yeah. People may be like, oh, you crazy for going 3 days. What's so crazy about it? Get out of that mentality of thinking in the box that vacations between 7 to 10 days, and you can live your life. I can pack up right now and go pick a place in the map. I can go there. You can go there, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not tied to my vacation days. First of all, my industry, that doesn't really exist. So it allows you to really just do things and go, right? Like every once in a while you can take a vacation where you can like just shut off, disconnect, but that's far and few in between. So I've already said like my life is one endless seam of work and play.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant by betting on myself. Because at that point I took a mental shift saying to myself, hell no, I don't want to have to bifurcate my life versus pleasure. I don't want to have a life where I got to take a vacation from it. I like my life. I like getting in a nice suit every day, putting on my Prada loafers, going to a nice big office on 42nd Street, having my own office with the view of Central Park and the George Washington Bridge and all of North Manhattan. And I like getting on my flights to my exotic locations or wherever the hell I go to with the people that I love and eating great food and having exceptional experiences. So that was my mental shift. Yeah. But I remember going back to my dad, I was like, nah, I can't be like that guy. My dad told me that guy, I started working with him when I first got to this country. And that guy stayed in the same place and never left. And he kept talking about all these big dreams and all this big stuff that he wanted to do. And that leads to my next topic in terms of like betting on yourself means reinventing yourself and getting uncomfortable through it. Right?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's more so letting go of that safety net and being like loving to be uncomfortable. And also a lot of people are afraid to sometimes take a step back. Sometimes you got to take a step back to go 2 steps forward.
Yep.
You know,
you got to.
And there's not one time that it's going to be like, oh, I bet on myself and life should be grand. You know, in each level that you get to, or in each time that you're going to take that step to grow, there's going to be an instance, or there's going to be there's going to be a what is it? A path in a road where it's like you got to decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
You're going to go all in, let go everything you know that's comfortable and just risk it all, or you're going to stay in your same lane and just be comfortable and satisfied where you're at.
No, absolutely true. I mean, coming back to New York from the UAE, in a way, my quality of life took a step back, right? Like, I don't have a balcony that's looking at the Burj Khalifa, but I decided I don't care about that. That's not what's important to me right now.
Yeah.
What's important to me is the career progression and being able to be in a place where 3 or 4 years from now, my life can drastically take another change, right? For the better.
Yeah.
And it will not just affect me, it'll affect everybody else. Like, I'm in the place where I'm 3 or 4 years away, and I was, shout out to my boy Alex. We were just talking about it. We're both 3 or 4 years away where if we just continue this grind, like, life will not be the same for us and for anybody around us anymore, because the changes that you make when you make a partner, and like the amount of financial opportunity and success you get from that, and the opportunities that come with that, and the doors that open with come with that, crossing that threshold. So this is the squeeze right now. This is the pain threshold. How much pain can you take? How much can you take? And I'm putting even harder on myself by doing this podcast and trying to do that both effectively, which I fail at times, right? Like, I'm not, sometimes you be hitting me up. I'm like, yo, John, where you at with this? I'm like, I got to move that up on my to-do list because I have a partner I have to satisfy. I also have colleagues I also need to satisfy. So it's always like a conflict there. But, you know, letting go of that safety, and I have to let go of it. I have to really take myself a look in the mirror and say, like, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? Yeah. What's my long-term goal? It can't just be like, oh, I got a nice apartment, I'm in Dubai, and I haven't done anything. I haven't really pivoted in the last 3 or 4 years, which is where I started feeling towards the end. I was like, look, am I going to really stay here? Yeah, I mean, to the most people, look, to 95% of people, me saying that, be great. That's awesome. Oh my God, look at all the great things that you're doing. But what have I really done? I don't want to be one of these lawyers that stayed there for 20 years and haven't made any progressions. Their life has stayed the same year to year. Yeah, the only thing that people have noticed about them is that they moved. But once you moved, what did you do with the move? Yeah. You ever heard of, like, that's the move before the move? Yeah. Right? Like, so what's the move before the move? And for me, I think the UAE served as the move before the move for me. Okay. And yeah, I mean, I've not looked back since. I've been here for, it's about to be a year and like a couple of days. And I've really been focusing on this mindset of just being able to progress forward, send out a positive message, more deepen into making an impact to my mentees, and just being an example that people can follow. So a very important thing, I guess, for our audience to understand as well. And I think as we're going through things or going through life, we're growing and growing up in front of people's eyes as well. When is it toxic that it's, you know, the chase of that you're not satisfied? When does that get, you know, kind of toxic? And when is the balance of, hey, I'm happy and content? I just made a TikTok about this the other day. I think. For real? You didn't talk about that? I get to see it. You a TikTok guy. We'll get offline, but TikTok is really where you need to focus. And it gives you instant reaction of what works and what doesn't work. Yeah. It's a great platform. Right? IG doesn't do that. Yeah, IG sometimes takes you a long time. TikTok will let you know immediately, is this piece of content liked by most people? Yeah. No, it's not. Okay, I need to switch it up. Okay. So if you have a piece of content that you're into, and again, this is about betting on yourself too. It's also paying attention. Yeah. Paying attention to what you're doing. It's not just like grind it out, put your head down and just output. You need to pay attention to what the audience says. Vadim, feedback loop. Vadim said it. Get your idea out there as quickly as possible because you need feedback from people. Yeah. So you can refine, retweak, and re-execute. But I used to think that you have to grind to your bones and no breaks. And if you're not being productive, then you're being lazy. That's not a good way of thinking about it. That's a very toxic way of looking at productivity. Breaks and rest are also necessary. I take a lot of breaks during my day. You ever heard of like the 2 hours hard on and then like 30 minutes off? So I'll get into like deep work for like an hour or two, no distractions, no phone around. And then I'll take like a 30-minute walk where I do nothing. Okay. Don't pay attention to any of my phone, maybe lay down, take a quick power nap. Because your brain cannot function for 4 hours straight, 5 hours straight. There's studies on this. Science has proven it. What do you think is enough, bro? I mean, look, honestly, maybe, I don't know. That's a personal question. Am I happy right now? I'm happy with I love my life. I'm happy with my life. Could things be better? Always. But I'm content with where I'm at right now. But do I want more? Absolutely. I'm not done yet. I'm only 34 years old. Like, I'm far from done. But maybe that's a question to ask yourself. Like, and that's an individualized question. What's the balance between happiness and what's enough, and where you take it back? Is $250K enough, or do you need to take 8 vacations a year? What's your metric of happiness, right? It depends. Is it monetary? Is it experiences? Is it people? Is it health? Obviously, we all agree that health is necessary, but
and I think it's important too for people to not look at social media as the metric or the standard. No. And it's really knowing yourself and identifying who you are, what makes you happy, and what is your standards, and block out all the noise. And I think a lot of people need to sometimes take like a social media detox and just get in touch with themselves as far as like, what do you like to do?
Yeah, and honestly, like I go on social media. I'm a big lurker on social media. Like, I'm a huge lurker, and I like to
never post, just feel.
I do post. I do post every once in a while, like every 3 months. But I'm a huge lurker because I do market studies.
Okay.
I don't follow that many people. The people that I follow is because I genuinely want to track your progress in life, and I want to see what you're up to, right? Yeah. And there's certain people who have started so many projects, and I feel like I want to outreach to them, and be like, yo, like, I don't want them to take it the wrong way, but I was like, I really like this. This is the reason why I started following you. Is this coming back? Because I may have to unfollow you, right? Like, so, but the reason I'm saying that is because with social media, if you look at it as a lens for information to educate yourself, it doesn't become that exhausting. Mm-hmm. If you're using it as a place for you to try to make yourself feel better, I think that's where people fade, because they're gonna be like, oh, like, this person's skinnier than me, this person has more money than me, this person this. And we all know, if you've been around the world like me and Mike, 99% of that's fugazi anyway. So like, it's fake and fugazi. I was just in a place where Monaco, literally, there was a girl who took a picture in a Ferrari, and then got out the car, and it was somebody else's car. So she probably posted that. She probably posted that and thinking and flexing back for where she's from, thinking like, oh, this is my whip. Yeah, bro, everything you see out of my lens is exactly how it is. I was in the grandstands. I couldn't afford to be in them boats. Not yet, though. I couldn't afford to be in them boats, right? I wanted to be in them boats watching. And this is where it's messed up, because I was next to Alex. Was like, the next time I come to Monaco, I want to be in one of those. I'm in Monaco watching the F1. And that should be good enough. Same shit. But my mind took me to like, oh, I'm not happy here because I'm not in the boat. I want to be in the boat. And then if I'm in the boat, I'm going to look up and be like, I want to be in the helicopter that's whirling while watching the race. Like, when does it stop? When does it stop? You feel me?
And to be honest, that's one thing. Because you're already in Monaco. Like, you got you got great seats too.
I had amazing seats.
You know?
I had amazing seats.
And to be honest, I'm pretty sure when you get to the boat, like, whether you got to the boat that, I paid for this boat myself, or it's an invite and like, hey, one of your clients or something like that, or you get to a place where it's like, yo, you got invited to be on a boat or something like that, It's still gonna be the same shit. It's probably gonna be somebody on the boat that can't even get their ticket to Monaco, but just finesse their way there. And it's like, damn.
Well, we know which audience finesse their way into the audience. We know which audience finesse their way into Monaco. We're not gonna shout anybody out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like I've been good at that. Is like, if I get somewhere, or say if I go to a game, if I'm not on the floor, like, I'm fine where I'm at. I'm fine where the location I'm at is good,
Yeah. Just being instead of,
because a lot of times you'll look at, I mean, when and I think you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes like, man, that person might have scammed to get them.
Might have scammed.
Yeah, like, it's like, come on, it's not real.
Made it giving a favor to get there.
Exactly.
Yo, man, like, honestly speaking,
or compromise themselves.
Compromise themselves to get there, right? Like, and look, let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of the social media has really done a great job in showing you can be whoever you want on the internet, bro.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I do. I want, when you meet me and you shake my hand, I want you to be like, the person I see on social media is the same person that John is. That's the reason why I'm very consistent on social media with the things I post. I travel. I posted to travel. My stories are always the same. I go to Barry's. I give an inspirational quote, or I take a lyric from a song that I like that motivated me that day. It's the same BS every day, but that's who I am as a person. You'll be like, oh, that's John. That's what he does.
Yeah.
I don't be posting, yo, look at me at the Gucci store about to drop whatever it is. That's for me.
Yeah.
That's not for anybody else, right?
Yeah.
Or look at me, I just went to Maison Margiela, or I just went to Prada, or I just went to the Cartier store. That's for me. That's not for anybody else. I do that for my own gratification. I don't need anybody to see that. Now, when you see me flossing, that's a different thing. You can make your own. You can think about whatever going through your head at the time. But I'm not gonna go ahead and put that into the world because I strongly believe like what you put out there, you'll attract.
Yeah.
And I ain't trying to attract a certain type of crowd.
Attract the luxurious things in life. I would say I'm quite different though. For me, I would say on social media, I might look like a super extrovert and things like that. But 80% of the time, I'm chill. I like to be alone. I like to be quiet. Like I'm in the crib. Yo, I love cooking. Like I love just keeping to myself, you know? But on social media, I'll put like, yo, I'm at a restaurant or something like that. And
one of your handles is if Mike was here, and international Mike, bro.
You said what?
You say your handles if Mike was here. You have a travel page.
No, because I do like to travel. That's one part. But I think that's like the one aspect that I like to highlight on social media. But other than that, it's like, yo, I love just like being inside. I love like just chilling, you know.
So going back to that, back to our reinvention, betting on yourself. There's aspects of that people don't really see. The financial stress, right? The isolation,
the
burnout. And I wanted to ask you, have you felt during this podcast journey, have you felt any burnout?
Of course, definitely. And then I think it's more so when I start to like, and it happens, you start to compare. And I'm like, damn, well, our shit ain't taking off like this. Like, yo, why we ain't get that deal, that brand deal, you know?
That's why you need to get off the internet.
Oh, yeah. You know, and it's, you know, the burnout as far as, yo, the amount of money we spent, it's like, yo, that could have been towards something else, a condo, something that's generating revenue, you know? So that's the whole thing where I'm like, all right, this investment, where is it going? You know, is it going to take off? And I think
are you doing it for like, that has a lot to do with why you're doing this, right? Like at the end of the day, this is creative. Like for me personally, this is a creative outlet. Yeah. Yes, do I want it to make money? Absolutely. I'll be mad fake if I didn't say I didn't want it to make money. Do I need it to make money right now? No, I don't need it.
But a creative outlet, it's an expensive creative.
It's a very expensive
creative.
I'm going to yoga for that.
Exactly. You know, so that's the only thing where I'm like, damn, we putting all this money in. Like I want a return for it, you know? And then if not, then let's keep it creative and then let's not put as much money in it. But I'm like, both of us are the same. If we're going to do something, we're going to do something to the best of our ability. So that's why I'm like, if we're going to continue this role, which we are, we gotta every week. Let's max it out.
You're absolutely right. You've been,
and then I want to get to a point where it's like, yo, we did this shit every week. If the shit's not taking off, whatever, it's like, yo, all right. But I can't walk away saying like, damn, did we really do it? Yeah, did we really do this over a course of a year where we put studio edited podcasts, digital podcasts, and we were like, yo, this is fine. So I don't know exactly I don't know where this journey is going to take us, but I would hope that we have to, and shout out to you. You've been the main catalyst on that. You are the one who was like, we have to do digital. But once we start that digital train, we can't stop. Right? Like, no, we can't.
So I wanted to do the 2 test episodes just to see how and
I think we're still tweaking it and all that. Yeah. Last episode, sound wasn't all that, but we're going to get better. We're going to improve on that.
Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The whole point is to improve in front of the audience, not be able to, being afraid of making mistakes. We'll admit that the sound is great. The look can be a little better, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that is feedback we're getting from the people who will look at us, right? Yeah. Like it's like, oh, John didn't sound great. Yo, like you guys can do this a little better to make it more aesthetically pleasing. We're trying to capture the audience and we're trying to be interesting, but it's just one of those things where people don't really realize that there's a lot of stress that comes with this. I've gotten burnt out, not because of the podcast, because of everything else that's going on in my life.
Yeah.
And
mind you, the logistics of it all, the timings of, yo, your night, my daytime.
I do 11 p.m., 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or 6:30 in the morning for me, 11 p.m. for you.
Exactly.
Like,
because sometimes you might be burnt out from work, but I'm waking up, I might be tired. Like, you know, so just getting that right. And I think we're probably the first and only that's doing it on that level. Yeah.
I think we're the only ones who are flying from New York to Asia, have have a global platform like this and trying to put a digital podcast. And I'd be, if there's anybody else, I want to dap you up because
Please, and I want to see what they're doing.
See what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what brings the uniqueness to this. But I think that people, as a closing thought.
Yeah. Wait, I'm going to put this out there. I feel like we're going to get an airline sponsorship soon. So I'm gonna put it out there.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. We got to. We got to.
ATI, what are you talking about? United. I'm gonna hit United up, bro.
United, Emirates, Etihad,
Delta.
No
Spirit Airlines. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, but I think as a closing thought, the last thing I want to talk about, as we have a few minutes here, is the safest thing you can do is bet on yourself, because you're really the only tangible that you can control.
Yeah.
You can control your own actions and you can control what you do in your output. You can't control anything else. We've learned in season 4 that, wow, things can happen to you and things can throw a monkey wrench into everything, man.
Yeah. My closing thought is, nothing's a rocket ship. So betting on yourself doesn't mean you're always going to necessarily win, that your trajectory is going from 0 to 100. It could mean, hey, there's going to be a step back. Hey, there's not what people are used to seeing of you. Maybe that might change for a little bit. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I think just as long as, you believe in what you're doing and you're purpose driven, that's all that matters.
Absolutely, man. Why you don't tell the audience where they can find us?
Last Flight Out everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram. Like, subscribe, share, comment. All of that matters. So see y'all next week.
See you next week. Same time, same place.
Peace.
That's right out. Big teams, big boys, eh? My highs and lows inherit growth, Mr. Deeds. Went from juggling 3 jobs to CEO like I'm Steve. Never been a rotten apple, call me John Appleseed. That's how I bleed. God can see no other man can judge me. Call him Mike, Mr. International, getting cream.